G'day guys, welcome back again. Today we've got a 2008 Honda Odyssey 2.4 litre in that has got an intermittent slow crank hard start. So we're just going to do a bit of a methodical process. We're going to try and diagnose this very quickly and efficiently without pulling too much apart. This got brought in yesterday afternoon and it's been left overnight. So first thing we are going to do is check parasitic drain. Now we are not going to disconnect the battery or anything like that. We're going to use our little amp clamp. So let's just turn this on. It's going to show us the current draw through the battery at the moment, and that's going to tell us whether it's got any parasitic draw. So let's just go to 2 amps. I highly doubt if it had a amp draw greater than 2 amps, this car just probably wouldn't even start any day. So let's change it to DC. It's at the moment in DC, 2 amps. Let's zero it. It's close enough to zero. Let's go over. Let me just put this around the battery cable and let's have a look. As you can see, 37 milliamps. This definitely has no parasitic draw. Quick test, saves us mucking around, disconnecting the battery, putting a multimeter in series. So we know that's done. Next thing we are going to do is do a battery test, and I'll get the battery tester and I'll get you back on camera. So we're trying to do this with as little dismantling as possible. So hopefully we can see something on the relative compression test. So a good starter motor on the scope will show very clean lines, or relatively clean lines, but a worn starter motor will show very hashy lines and very ugly, not a clear relative compression test. So we can confirm 100% whether this starter motor is in good condition or not. So let's get the scope set up and we'll give it a test. Okay, so what I've done is I've disconnected the fuel pump fuse. So that's going to allow this engine to crank and not start, so I can get this relative compression test done. Set up the Pico here, got an amp clamp on. We have got our screen there. I hope you can see this very well. So I'm going to go crank the engine and let's see what happens. Alrighty, we can see the issue already, can't we? Look how hashy. There's no real clear lines there, is there? That's not straight. You expect those peaks and valleys to be quite decent straight lines, and there's just hash everywhere. I'll just zoom in on a section and you can see for yourself. Look at that. Shocking. So we know this starter motor is definitely worn internally. We didn't really have to pull it apart. It didn't take us long to do this, and we didn't get our hands dirty really, because the starter motor placement on this engine is right under the intake manifold. Very difficult to get to. So what I will do is we're going to tell this customer he needs a starter motor. I'm going to pull that intake manifold off. We'll have a look at where that starter motor is, and once we get it in and put it back together, we're going to do the same test and we're going to see how clear that comes back up. Only took a little bit of dismantling to get to the starter motor, as you can see here. So you can see why we didn't want to muck around and test anything down here. So that's why we did those tests that weren't too intrusive. So we're going to get the new starter motor in its place and we are going to put it back together. I'll show you a shot of the new starter motor in there anyway, just to confirm, and we'll do that relative compression test again. Alright guys, we've got the new starter motor in, set up and ready. I didn't get you a shot of the new starter motor in because I was in a rush. I got sent the wrong part, and by the time we got here, I'm just trying to finish up the day and get it done. So we're going to do the same test. I've still got the actual fuel pump fuse out. So let's give it a go and see what happens. Alright guys, as you can see, clear lines, clear space between all of the actual compression peaks, and I'll zoom in and we'll do the same sort of zoom I did before. You can see, look, a little bit of hash. I don't have the best amp clamp on it. I don't have a Pico clamp. I'm using Handtech at the moment, but you can clearly see solid lines, clear space between everything compared to what we were looking at before. Let me go down. I'll open you the original one. I'll take the zoom off it. Compared to this one. So that's zoomed out. Let me zoom out of this one so they look exactly the same. And then we'll do the hash. Obviously I had it set up a little bit differently, but as you can see, look at that. Massive difference. Brand new starter motor. Let's put the fuel pump fuse back in, start it up, make sure it's got a perfect start, and we can send this customer away very happy. Alrighty, our fuse is back in. Let's start this baby up and see how it sounds. Do it a couple of times, make sure we got a long hard crank. That sounds absolutely beautiful to me. There guys, check this out. I just pulled the starter out. Oh my god. It's all burnt in there. That's all from the middle of it. Look how worn down those brushes are. Completely worn away, all that crap in there, and that's what you're seeing on the scope. Brushes worn down, struggling to get that voltage, to get that cranking torque. And that's what we have there. Oh, that's all the mess that just came out of it as soon as I popped it open. There you go. You know, pulling that starter motor apart is just a little bit of self-satisfaction to know that what you're diagnosing is correct. And it's great to see that what you're thinking is happening on the inside of that starter motor is actually what is happening. Hopefully this helps you out guys, and you've got an intermittent slow crank. A couple of easy tests with the right tools, and it can be relatively quick diagnosis without getting your hands dirty. As you can see, that starter motor was in a shocking spot to get to, so you know, having the right tools and diagnosing it quickly is the way to go. And obviously taking a screen capture of that, we can show the customer and make sure they're happy, and can explain to them exactly what's going on, and they can actually see something. You know, a lot of times when we diagnose something or repair something, they can't actually see it. So, you know, mechanics have got such a bad name that how do they know to trust us? Well, here's certain proof that, you know, we can show them, and they can have that trust and that faith in us going forward. Thanks for watching guys, hope you liked this video. I hope you've subscribed. If you haven't, please do. Thanks for watching.